Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at the 10 hardest final bosses in Zelda games.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we'll be showcasing the toughest bosses to close out Link's adventures. Which boss gave you the most trouble? Let us know in the comments below. Calamity Ganon, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. As imposing as this beast is, Calamity Ganon needs an asterisk next to his name. How difficult he is partially depends on the player. If you've completed all Divine Beasts, he'll only have half his health when the fight begins. But at full health, he is much more problematic. First, Link will be forced to fight a gauntlet of the bosses he would have faced inside the Divine Beasts before facing Ganon, who uses a combination of their attacks and his own. Halfway through, he'll shield himself from regular attacks, which is especially annoying if you haven't gotten any of the champion's blessings. The final phase is actually fairly easy, but if you die during the first one, you'll have to fight all 4 blights again.
The roof's protection is now ready to roll.
This video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Dive into a rich world with millions of players, hundreds of champions to collect, and tons of activities like dungeons and PvP with Raid Shadow Legends. Use the links below to download Raid for free on mobile or PC. Alright guys, let's take a look at one of my favorite bosses, Sir Galaroth, Guardian of the Arcane Keep. Sir Galaroth is a noble knight who actually helps to guard the arcane knowledge within the keep, only letting those he deems worthy to claim this power. To do that, you must defeat him. His main attack is very powerful and deals extra damage to any champion without buffs, so make sure your champions have an AoE buff at all times. Sir Galaroth is not alone though. He has a minion who will strip all your team's buffs every time it gets a turn. As long as your team keeps up their buffs and you watch out for that minion, victory is within reach. And this month, Raid's got a non-stop schedule of special events and activities, including an absolutely jam-packed Halloween lineup at the end of the month. We're talking huge rewards, player versus player tournaments, special fragment events to get brand new legendary champions, including a very spooky Halloween champion, and much more. Raid is busier and better than ever, so start playing today. Hit the link in the description or scan my QR code and you'll get an epic hero Chonoru who's great for the Doom Tower, 200k silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard so you can summon an awesome champion when you get in game. All these rewards will be waiting for you right here.
Majora, The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. Similar to Calamity Ganon, Majora can be much easier if you want it to be. Completing all quests gets you the Fierce Deity Mask, which turns Majora into a chump. But the normal fight will give you a hefty challenge. The mask's first phase isn't too bad, even though it calls each boss's remains to help out. But when it turns humanoid is when the fight kicks into high gear. Majora's incarnation is incredibly quick, sprinting around the room and often barreling over Link. It can be tough to land a hit even when it stops moving to hurl projectiles. Majora's Wrath will barrage you with whips, frequently dodge projectiles, and throw out explosive, spiked spinning tops. Just keep that shield up. Ganondorf/Ganon, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. While the Phantom Ganon fight somewhat acted as a tutorial, Ganondorf makes it a bit harder for you in a variety of ways. With no Navi, there's no way to lock on, a clever way to rid players of a helpful mechanic they became reliant on. His attacks are also much stronger, and the arena's tiles will fall when hit by his energy blasts. His second phase comes after escaping from his crumbling tower, where he'll transform into the beastly Ganon. His gigantic dual swords deal heavy damage, and at first, it can be tricky to figure out how to get to his tail to start wailing on him, but everything is worth it for that final stab to his big ugly face. Thunderbird and Dark Link, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. These two foes are fought back to back in the Great Palace, the game's final level, and they can both be tough in different ways. The Thunderbird flies above Link, constantly spewing fireballs in his general direction. After using the Thunder spell, which is acquired earlier in the game, Link will have to jump to deal damage to the Thunderbird's head. It's pretty likely you'll take a few hits, setting Dark Link up for the kill. While crouching in the corner and stabbing when he gets near is an easy way out, most players didn't know that at the time. Dark Link is quick to attack and defend against you, which amounts to a lot of frantic jumping and slicing on your part. Ganon, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Much like his appearance in Ocarina, Ganon's attacks here can deplete Link's hearts in a matter of moments. He'll begin the fight by teleporting and throwing his trident around the room, but what you really need to watch out for are the fireballs he summons around him. They make getting close dangerous, but they'll also take a bat-like form and speedily dive bomb Link from across the room. After a while, Ganon will collapse the edge of the room and extinguish the light to make himself invisible. The player must keep up a steady stream of relighting the torches, hitting him with a silver arrow, and dealing damage all while avoiding his attacks and the holes in the floor. If you fall, you'll have to start all over. Demise, The Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword. Although Demise was largely absent from most of the game, he showed up at the end to give Link a good walloping. Like Girahim before him, the one-on-one duel requires the player to slice in a direction that Demise's sword isn't prepared to block for. Patience is key, as it's much easier to block with a shield bash and then attack, but his second phase is much more troublesome. He'll electrify his sword, giving any of your attacks the possibility to shock Link, which will lead to a very quick death. You'll have to stand back and summon your own Skyward Strike to stun him and open him up to damage. But if you aren't quick enough, he'll charge and knock off 2 hearts. Ganon, The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. This version of Link's arch-nemesis prefers to get his hands dirty rather than use magic. He'll dive around the arena, slicing, dicing, kicking, and even laughing right in Link's face. All Link can do is block and distract so Zelda can shoot him with a light arrow, which opens him up to sword attacks. Unfortunately, he'll flip over her arrows with ease if he sees them coming, and in worst cases he'll dodge just to have the arrow hit Link instead. He'll eventually knock Zelda out, leaving your parry as the only means to get attacks in. But he also gets wise to this, blocking and dodging until Zelda can shoot an arrow into Link's mirror shield. It's a tense fight to say the least. Vaati, The Legend of Zelda, The Minish Cap. Vaati's 3 phases each serve up a ton of projectiles to avoid while also guarding from Link's attacks. His first phase can't be hurt without defeating the laser-firing orbs that periodically spin around him, though he also annoyingly teleports and shoots fire. Part 2 will throw out spikes, rain down boulders, and shoot electrical attacks. He's also well defended, as Link must shoot the correct 4 out of 8 orbs surrounding him, multiply himself, and then attack. His final phase can be a bit obtuse, requiring the Cane of Pachi and Link's Minish form to quickly get rid of his new arms before you can actually hurt him. From there, it's back to multiplying Link so you can deflect projectiles and finally give Vaati what's coming to him. Twinrova and Ganon, The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages, and Oracle of Seasons. Players have to beat both handheld games to get this seriously challenging fight. First comes Kume and Kotake, whose fight is similar to their appearance in Ocarina of Time. But in 2D and without a mirror shield or targeting system, it can actually be hard to hit each sister with the correct attack. When joined together, Twinrova will alternate between ice and fire forms, attacks, and arenas. Sliding around on ice is annoying, but so is being knocked into a pit of lava. And only Mystery Seeds can damage Twinrova's dual form. Finally, they'll revive Ganon, whose disorienting attacks can stun you and swap your controls. If you die at any point, you have to fight all 3 battles over. Ganondorf, The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess. The final fight in Twilight Princess comes in an impressive 4 phases. First up is a possessed Zelda, who isn't too difficult as long as you keep up Dead Man's Volley. But the second phase, Dark Beast Ganon, hits like a truck as he charges through portals and tramples Link. Wolf Link can knock him over, revealing his weak point, but it takes good timing. Third is a horseback fight where Ganondorf will send out phantom riders, keeping you at bay, making it harder for Zelda to hit him with light arrows. Finally, it's a one-on-one sword duel against the man himself. Waiting for the chance to sword lock can open him up for heavy damage, but if you're not careful, Ganondorf will show surprising speed as he dashes to slice you with his glowing sword.
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.